Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the September 22nd meeting of the Revere City Council Zoning Subcommittee. This evening we have subcommittee members Councilor Charles Patch, Councilor Arthur Guanasso, and myself, Councilor Stephen Reardon. Also with us is Councilor Brian Arrigo this evening. We have two matters before the zoning subcommittee here this evening. The first of which is C-14-08. This is a petition from and by Robert Corcoran, Barberin LLC of 9 Whitney Road, Boxford, Mass. for a request to construct 6 townhouses within the RB district at 75 Lansome Street, Revere, Massachusetts. This matter was the subject of a public hearing on August 27th, Madam Clerk, was it?
August 25th.
25th. And is now here for review by the zoning subcommittee. So in no particular order, I'll ask, but first and foremost, the applicant or his representative to step forward, please.
Good evening. James Cipolletta, 385 Broadway, Revere, with the applicant Bob Corcoran.
Good evening, Mr. Cipolletta. As we noted earlier before we started the meeting, it appears that the site plan review has very recently, on September 18th, provided us with some recommendations, at least one of which looks like it is probably mandatory regarding, at least from the opinion of the city planner, is that a variance will, another variance will be required on this. So under those circumstances, I think what we'll probably want to do, and I know you want to do, is hold this matter until at least our next meeting on October 6th, yes, if that's enough time for you to address these issues.
I think it would be, because there are, of the 9 issues that are set out in the 18 September memorandum, there are only 2. And they may require just slight plan amendments. I'm not sure, but I should have to go through those with Frank.
Okay. So under those circumstances, and with the understanding, as you suggested earlier, that you would be willing to waive the 90-day period if it becomes necessary, my understanding at this point is that since we didn't have a public hearing on this thing until just about a month ago, we've got plenty of time on that. But just so, because of the fact that this does seem rather extensive, a number of conditions may require some, perhaps some more architecture or engineering, et cetera, as well. Yes. We'll hold it till then. If that is not enough time, please notify the clerk, yes, and we can actually put it over until, again, as long as we're not up against any deadline on this. I understand the problems with getting a plan like this put together and a lot of people to satisfy, et cetera, so we'll hold this. Okay, thank you.
Okay, and for the record, as we had discussed, we would agree to exclude the number of days between tonight's meeting and either the 6th or whatever following meeting day that is. So however many days passes, we would agree to exclude them.
That's fine. I don't think it'll be necessary, but thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Second matter on the agenda this evening is item number C-14-12. This is a petition from Anthony Pintoni and John Pintoni, DBA Master Auto, Inc., 1027 Broadway, Revere, seeking permission from the Revere City Council to modify a non-conforming commercial structure by enlarging the structure footprint by 193 square feet and by raising the building height to allow for additional work and storage space on lots A, B, and C at 1027 Revere, Massachusetts.
Mr. Chairman, Attorney Lawrence Simeone, 300 Broadway, Revere, Massachusetts, representing the petitioner Anthony Pintone and John Pintone as managers of 1027 Broadway LLC, Massachusetts Limited Liability Corporation with a principal place of business at 1027 Broadway. Mr. Chairman, as we were first of all, let me thank you and the committee for this expedited hearing, having only had a public hearing on September 15th, recognizing the plight that my client has been battling since the storm, where his property has been devastated by the storm, and he's tried to get some relief, and unfortunately I was unable to convince both the city solicitor and the building inspector that this was a small alteration and certainly didn't require this permitting. And we thank you for that, Mr. Chairman, and also thank Councilor Ward 3, Councilor Arthur Guanasso. As I stand before you, the request is simple. It's a non-conforming structure only because the particular lot in question is a non-conforming lot in accordance with Bransford versus Zoning Board of Appeals of Edgartown. In that particular case, the Supreme Court in 2005 changed the lay of the land, and if you have a structure that is conforming, which is this particular structure does conform with the general business district in all its criteria. However, the lot is not, and you're increasing the size of that conforming structure. They believe the structure is considered a non-conforming structure, and you're increasing the non-conformity only simply and straightforward because the lot happens to be 8,625 square feet, and 10,000 square feet is the minimum lot requirement in the general business district. With that said, my clients have taken the opportunity to try to advance the building so that they can continue to meet competition in the area. They wanted to increase the height of the building a mere 5 feet. 50 feet is allowed in the general business district, so that they can work on cars that are on the lift better, just a little bit more clearance. And they only asked for another 5 feet to bump out their 2 garages, 5.5 feet times 35.1, which is 193 square feet, noted by the city clerk when she announced the public hearing on this matter. So, in accordance with the statute, it is an alteration of a non-conforming structure because it's a non-conforming lot. I'd ask you to grant the permit. There was no opposition at the council. There seemed to be a great deal of support, and we thank you for that. And hopefully at some point the council will address this issue, because these gentlemen have had to wait a very long time to fix this building, and I believe the council will be able to use legislative authority so this will never happen again.
Well, I'm not certain that we're willing to be addressing that issue, but let's take a look at the more microscopic issue of the requested change. Are there any other speakers on this matter? Since there are none, I'll open it up to the subcommittee and Councilor Arrigo for any questions of the applicant. Councilor Guanasso.
Can you hear me now? Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman. I've been at the particular site on several occasions to visit the concern and the issue itself. To me, it's foolhardy to suggest that we go through this long process when the request, as the able counselor speaking at the podium stated, it's a little quirk in the law that needs a little amending, and I'm going to look forward to it in the next coming weeks to correct that. But where it may be, we're at this issue today, and there's absolutely no reason in the world why this petition should not be it should be denied. This is absolutely an easy to do. You're only talking about 5 feet in height in an area that is already conducive to what they're doing. There's auto repairs on both sides of this particular applicant, and the area so warrants it. There isn't one neighbor who has confronted me with this issue that's saying that they would be in opposition to this. So rather than say a lot of other things, I just ask that this honorable subcommittee vote favorably for this and let these gentlemen get on their way to repairing this structure that was damaged so severely by the tornado. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor Guanasso. Councilor Patrick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say that I agree with the ward councilor on all the points that he made. I myself do not feel that this really should be before us, but since the decision was made elsewhere, that he should have been able to do this by right, I thought, my opinion. But I will vote in favor of this because to go along with the ward council and also the way I feel. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor, were there any site plan review issues on this at all? Do you know of?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay,
We had to
nothing,
move
Madam
very
Clerk.
quickly. We filed a memorandum of law to try to say that it was by right, and it got bandied about in the site plan, and finally, in order to make the time deadline, we were able to get a letter from the site plan review committee. As a matter of fact, there was so much, very little to deal with the issue that I actually filed my application as both special permit to modify non-conforming use and a structures, which was, and I thank the city clerk for having had the good conscience to making only the advertisement for the structure. With that said, we have no comments or recommendations from the site plan review committee.
Well, it doesn't look like something that they would normally have too much to say about it. It is, from what I can see of the plan, it's clearly a very, very minor addition. In fact, the building actually looks like it probably should have had this done in the first place. But and I understand. My understanding is that the reason that the height you're asking to raise the height right now is that you want to be able to accommodate taller vehicles for repairs.
Yeah, and plus vehicles are getting bigger, so when their lifts go up, they're having a tough time. You know, I have the owner Anthony, if you wanted to ask him specifically, but it's really a safety issue. I'd like this gentleman that work on these cars to have just a little bit more space.
Right, quite understand, and the area certainly is not going to be adversely affected by that. In fact, I would make a finding that your requested findings of fact be adopted by the City Council based on what I see before me here. I would like to comment briefly on Councilor Guanasso's suggestion, and frankly, it seems to me that if the city planner and the city solicitor seem to think, you know, with all due respect to your opinion and anybody else's opinion, that we should have more oversight over such matters, I'm all in favor of that. We don't have to look any further than that structure on Lee Burbank Highway to tell you that more oversight, certainly under these circumstances and in the era in which we live right now, is certainly more beneficial to the people of the city of Revere. So I would certainly be against any change in any ordinance that would give us less discretion over such matters. Nonetheless, this is certainly something that would, I think, makes sense. And I should let everybody know that these gentlemen have had a really disastrous turn of events back a few weeks ago when the area was hit by the tornado, essentially destroyed the building in the first place. They might, I would guess that they might not even be here looking to do this at this point were it not for the fact that the building was already destroyed substantially. So it makes sense for them to make any improvements that they're going to make as quickly as possible. And I certainly understand the need for expedience to get that business back up and running the way it was running before, and hopefully to improve it. So I'll entertain a motion to report this out.
Motion to approve it.
Councilor Guanasso has made a motion to report this out favorably to the City Council, and I assume that means adopting the requested findings of fact, and to adopt the requested findings of fact. All in favor? Mr. Councilor Patch, Councilor Guanasso in favor. I also am in favor. That's a majority. That's actually the. He can vote if he wants. It's not going to matter much. He gets to vote later on anyway. But as a subcommittee, we'll report this out favorably at 6 o'clock at the 6 o'clock meeting of the full City Council, and the City Council have the opportunity to consider it and vote on it at that time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome, Councilor. As that is the last matter before the zoning subcommittee, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. All in favor? The meeting is hereby adjourned until next we meet. I would anticipate that we will likely have a meeting on October 6th. Although anyone interested in finding out whether that is a fact should contact our able clerk Ashley Melnick, and she will let you know. Thank you very much.